Yo, what's up guys, the Insane Game Freak here to bring you, just to warn you, I think except for like one other video, the majority of my next few videos will be like video game related. Because I'm in that video game mood, plus that a whole bunch of shit with Nintendo's been going down these last few days, so that's going to spark some videos I have planned. But this one is the first of, and then I'm probably going to make an anime video regarding the winter 2014 anime season. I'm going to do that on the main channel for once, to give y'all something to watch. I say that, what I really mean today is just to see how it goes on the main channel, because I haven't really done one of those main channel videos like that. But that's besides the point of rambling. This video isn't about that. This video is actually about a game that was announced last year and we have heard nothing on it since. Shin-Megami Tensei X Fire Emblem. Cross Fire Emblem, whatever you want to call it. Now, there hasn't been too much revealed about this game, and I'm pretty sure something will be revealed within the next few months about this game. Or at least within the next few directs. If not E3, actually. And I know a lot of people are hoping it's like an RPG. Kind of like a crossover RPG. But if I had to be completely honest, considering this is a Wii U game, I want this to be a fighter. But there are a few different reasons why I want it to be a fighter. First thing, Nintendo doesn't have a dedicated fighter on their console. They don't. That's like one of the genres they were liking. I mean, remember how excited people got about the possibility of a Pokemon fighting game? Is partially due to the fact that Nintendo doesn't have a dedicated fighter. Like, the last few fighting games we had was the Tekken Tag Tournament crossover that had Nintendo features, or Nintendo cameo shit in there, and costumes, which is just a port. And then the only specific game we got, I think, was on the Wii, which was Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Which, by the way, I would not mind getting a second installment on that on the Wii U. Just throwing it out there. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Tatsunoko vs. Capcom 2 on the Wii U. That'd be nice. Just saying. But other than that, they usually, and I think the GameCube probably got the most fighting game ports, like Soul Calibur. But like other than that, we don't get, Nintendo doesn't have like a dedicated fighter. I mean, you have Tekken, you have Dead or Alive, you have Street Fighter, you have the Marvel vs. Capcom series. I feel like I'm missing something. Even the the Persona 4 Golden Arena, which probably will become a thing, Blaze Blue. Most of those games have never been on Nintendo console. I mean, for God's sakes, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 was the first Tekken game we ever got, I think. I'm pretty sure, but I think that's the first Tekken game we've ever got. Which is ridiculous considering Tekken is not a really new franchise. It's a fairly old franchise, so I find that kind of insane. But correct me if I'm wrong about the whole Tekken, that being the first Tekken game on Nintendo console, so whatever. So I think the first reason would specifically be because we don't have a dedicated fighter. And having a fighter with your specific characters in there with... Atlas has a pretty decent relationship, especially in recent years with Nintendo, so... Having a dedicated fighter with like one of your main series characters in that game would promote that as a fighting game series, which would be pretty fucking cool. Plus that, because of the way they fight. It's like you have one side that fights with magic and demons, and the other side that fights particularly just with different types of weapons. Swords, axes, lances, Pegasus, griffins, turning into animals themselves, stuff like that. That would make for a pretty cool fighting game instead of this traditional punches and kicks and like special blasts and shit. So I thought as a fighting game it would be pretty interesting in the fact that Nintendo needs like a dedicated fighting game series. The other thing is for star power and to cross-promote games. It's kind of like, I'll give you an example. Smash Brothers did this with me, so I think this would do the same thing for people who only play fighting games and get this game. Smash Brothers, some of the people I mained the most was like Pit, Luigi, Ike, Olimar, and Samus. Particularly Zero Suit Samus. I'm not sure why I have a bias toward, why, oh no, that's a lie. I know why I have the bias towards her. But those are like my 5 characters I usually swung, oh yeah, and Pokemon Trainer, and Lucario. But I like swung around with those characters specifically. And in the last few years, or at least in years after I played Brawl, I bought Metroid Other M, which was my first Metroid title. And I also own the first Metroid on the Wii U Virtual Console that I need to finish. I bought Kid Icarus Uprising. I bought Pikmin 3. I bought Fire Emblem Awakening. And I bought Luigi's Mansion 2. Games, most of which I have never played any game in the series before. Actually, I think all these games are like that. That's what I mean, cross-promotion. It's like I played them in the fighting game, therefore I liked the characters enough in the fighting game to be like, well, let me go check out a game from them. And hey, look, the newest game came out, which Metroid was the newest game for Samus anyway, because Samus hasn't had a Metroid since then, actually, which a lot of people were sad about because Donkey Kong. But that's what I mean. And considering Fire Emblem in itself is not a very popular Nintendo franchise, it's become more popular, particularly thanks to Fire Emblem Awakening. Even though they've had games on the Wii and the Game Boy Advance, I'm not sure they've had, I think they've had a game on the GameCube, I believe. But they've had games on consoles, but the Fire Emblem Awakening's popularity kind of just skyrocketed that shit. And Shin-Megami Tensei, I think, is the less popular between that and Persona, even though Shin-Megami Tensei was first. Persona has become more popular than it, which is why we got Persona 4 Golden Arena. That's my fucking point. You have these two relatively unpopular franchises in a fighting game, which gets fighting game fans into that game. They see their weird and cool techniques from the fighting game, and then they want to go pick up other games with those characters. So like the next Fire Emblem game, or even Fire Emblem Awakening for that matter. Same thing with Shin-Megami Tensei. It's like, and even that, I would mix in characters from the Devil Survivor series that's been on like the DS. Just because those characters I don't think have been used. I think it's particularly just the Persona characters. Also, we have a Persona game crossover, I think, coming out on the 3DS this year, I believe. So, as a fighting game, I think that would work better. Particularly because also, I guess the next reason would be, Nintendo has RPGs covered. I think, and in terms of RPGs, Nintendo and Sony run that genre, alright? Not even just JRPGs, just RPGs in general. They run that shit. So, it's like, we don't necessarily need another fucking RPG. I'd rather it be the fighter, which would benefit their brand a lot more. Because a lot of people complain about how Nintendo is really not into certain genres, which I think every company has that problem. I think Sony's probably the best in covering all of their bases. Xbox is specifically into one particular area, though. And that's my point. It's like, we don't have a dedicated fighter for Nintendo consoles, so why not use this as the dedicated fighter? And cross-promote your games, and Atlus's games, which then builds the relationship. Granted, I didn't think it was going to be bad anyway, considering the whole last few years. I mean, they've gotten almost all the fucking Atlus handheld games, and then it's like, oh, Shin Megami Tensei 4, exclusively for 3DS. So, yeah, that's my whole thing. That's my whole idea, and the reason why I wanted to be a fighter. Those that fighters are just easier to get into than RPGs. So if you ease them in with them already liking the characters, just throw them in the games that they come from, and it's cool. And I guess and because I'm not too heavy into either of these franchises, I can't really do like a list of characters I would want because I don't know most of the characters like that. But if I had to guess, I probably would say, just off the top of my head, I'd say, at least Fire Emblem, I would say Chrom, Ike, Marth, Roy. Those are the 4 dedicated mains. Then some background characters. As I said, I've only played Fire Emblem Awakening, so I guess Lucina. That's just, that has to happen. Lucina has to be in the game. I want her in Smash, to be perfectly honest, too. But Lucina, either have Lucina have an alternate costume for Marth. Lucina be an alternate costume for Marth. Lucina, maybe the main character, and you can change what attack, like if he's going to be a tactician or a swordsman or whatever, a magician. Tharja, obviously. Owain, obviously. And like Sully. That's just Awakening stuff, but you get the general idea I'm making here. That's my thoughts on it. Would you rather Fire Emblem cross Shin Megami Tensei to be a fighting game or a RPG? Please give your reasons and thoughts in the comment section below. And I guess we're all excited to hear about this game, period. That's just me, though. Same Game Freak. Life's a game. Play to win. Catch you guys later. Peace! Yo ho ho ho, yo ho ho, yo ho ho, yo ho.